Yo, what's good, people? Vlog number 2, it's back day. So, first things first, I'm starting her off. I just want to demonstrate this. We're jumping into some chest supported rows. You can see here, if I have the machine all the way at the bottom, I can't get a stretch at all. And it completely cuts out my range of motion. So, if you have a machine like this, max out the machine. You're going to have to stand up to get actually strapped in. But if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to get a stretch. And the stretch is where you build the most muscle. So yeah, max out the machine, and when I say that, I mean like as far back as you can, so that you can get the most stretch. Because look at this, ready? I'm going up at the top, and now boom, I'm getting stretched so far at the bottom of this. This is how you're going to build the most muscle. As you can see here, I'm using Versa grips. This is another super helpful thing, because it completely takes your grip out of the equation. So you don't have to worry about your forearms or your grip. All you have to worry about is training your back, which obviously is the point of this exercise. So that's the most important thing, making sure that I set it back as much as I can so I can get that deep stretch. And another important thing is you don't want to think about leaning forward right here. Like right here, I'm not leaning forward. What I'm doing is I'm letting the machine, I'm letting the weight pull me. So I'm not leaning forward, but the weight is like making it impossible for me to not be pulled, basically. And that way you're gonna get way more of a stretch. And yeah. By the way, if you ever hear something in the background, that's just the gym radio. I didn't want to mute the audio because then all you'd hear is my voiceover and it'd be kind of weird. But if you're ever confused, that's what it is. So next thing that I move on to is some leg curl, seated leg curl. So what I do here is I make sure that I'm clamped in as much as I can be, so I kind of have to push this thing down to get it into all the way at the lowest it can be. And then you'll see here I'm kind of leaning forward. And when you're doing that, you don't want to be bent over like how I just was. You want chest out, because what this is gonna do is, since you're folding your body more, it's just like if you're standing up still and leaning over. See right here, you're not doing anything if you're bending your back, but if you have your chest out and you're going forward, that's exactly what you want. So right now I'm moving into my set, and what that will do is it'll just make it so that you can have a little bit more stretch on the hamstrings, which is exactly what you want. And yeah, there was a study that tested this compared to lying leg curl, and it's the seated one had a lot more hypertrophy, just because of the fact that you can get a better stretch. So yeah, as you can see here, I'm making sure I'm going all the way up at the top. I would suggest, honestly, you go a little bit slower right now. Actually, I'm doing a pretty decent job. So yeah, I'm not worrying about being slow here, but once I get towards the end, that's when I'm worried about being slow. And then obviously pushing it as hard as I can. I'm still leaning forward, but once I get towards my last set, I'm just focusing on actually getting the reps, um, while still keeping a slow eccentric and doing all that stuff. Um, so yeah, and as you can see, I just got a lengthened partial right there. So so yeah. Also fans, oh my goodness, bro! If you have a fan at your gym that you can move around, it is so helpful. It'll make it so that like mid set you're not as hot. It's amazing. But yeah, moving on to seated cable rows right here. As you can see, I'm trying to get as stretched as I possibly can at the bottom, and I'm doing that same thing that I was talking about. I'm not thinking about leaning forward. I'm thinking about letting the weight pull me forward. And that's so much more important, because if you're just leaning forward, then you're not actually stretching your yourself as much. You're not getting that stretch in the upper back. You're just pivoting basically. Um, so yeah, I'm using the Versa grips on this as well, so that I don't have to worry about my grip being the limiting factor. You'll notice when I'm on the end part is when I'm a lot more slow as well. Moving on, we got some lying bicep curls. This is a new exercise. Dr. Mike has an entire video about it. Very, very good exercise, but I need to mention, I am doing this exercise a little bit wrong here. You'll notice my elbow is pivoting a lot, and I think the better way to do this exercise is to have your elbow pivot less. I might put a video on screen right now of Dr. Mike doing it, and you'll see his elbow doesn't pivot at all. Um, but yeah, this exercise is amazing just because the hardest spot is when you're in that stretch. So right now, when I'm at the bottom, it's so hard. And then once I get to the top, it's a lot easier, which is exactly what you want in an exercise. You want the stretch part to be the hardest, and the top part to be the easiest. So yeah, you'll see I'm just trying to make sure I go super slow once I get to that bottom part. And once I get to the top, I'm squeezing it at the top. That's why my elbows are going up. But I do think keeping your elbows and not having them move as much is definitely beneficial. And yeah. Next, we're moving on to some reverse flies. You'll see right here. If you are doing this one arm, you see how much stretch when I turn like this. Look at how much stretch I'm getting on my shoulder there. It's actually insane how much stretch you get. And you'll see you can stop at that certain point that I was just talking about. If you go any farther, there's not really a point. You can if you want, but you can stop once you're right about here. There's no point in going all the way super far back. Um, but yeah, you'll see I'm just going, getting that super deep stretch, and I'm exaggerating it, so I'm staying down there for a little while. So boom, I'm exaggerating it, and then once I get to the top, I'm going right back down because I don't care as much about that top. I care about that deep stretch at the bottom, and that's exactly what I want. So right here, super slow, stretching it out, and then once I get to the top, I just go right back down. Once I started doing this exercise instead of the variant where you do both arms at the same time, this is so much better. The pumps that I get from this are actually insane. Definitely my favorite shoulder exercise. I was just training shoulders today, and oh my gosh, bro, this exercise cooks your shoulders. Also, you'll see here, if you have the seat lower, you can't really go back as far because your face kind of blocks it. But if you put the seat up higher, then your arm can go under your chin, basically, which allows you to get that stretch without your face being in the way. So I'd recommend raising the seat up rather than having it super low. But obviously, it's different depending on your machine at your gym. But I definitely recommend doing this single arm instead of two arms at the same time because you just can't get this stretch if you're doing single arm. And it's just insane. Like right now, just look at how stretched I am. It's beautiful. You'll notice this video is a lot faster paced than my first vlog. I've already recorded vlog number 3, 4, and 5 before I recorded this one. So number 3 is edited, but I just thought making the vlog a little bit faster pace is a lot nicer. I'm still showing all of my exercises, but I'm not showing all the same sets because I feel like the first one was very repetitive unnecessarily. And yeah, I'm still here in the voiceover trying to give you all the tips. Now moving on to some pull-ups. Shout out to my boy Ryder for recording this for me. But yeah, you'll see I have Versa grips here. Versa grips make such a big difference for anything back. I would strongly recommend it, and obviously I'm not sponsored, but you can use Dr. Mike's code, and it's like 15% off, which makes a massive difference because they are pretty damn expensive. So 15% makes a big difference. But yeah, you'll see here I'm making sure I'm completely locking out at the bottom and trying to keep the best form that I can. Obviously, on my last couple reps, my form gets a little spotty, but yeah. Now, moving on to some leg press calves. Oh my goodness. This is such a good exercise. Biggest mistake people make is going up too high. So you'll see, once I get to the top, I don't like go all the way as high as I can on my tippy toes. But I kind of swivel on the bottom of my feet. This is something Jeff Nifberd and Dr. Mike talk about a lot. Uh, Basically, as you've been hearing me talk throughout this thing, you know that the stretch position is the best. Um, and you'll see right now I'm doing a my rep match, or a my rep break, so I'm just pausing for a little bit and then going right back into it. Um, but yeah, what you want to do is really milk out that bottom part where you're stretched, but not focus and not spend too much time wasting your energy on the top part. So you'll see I still touch that top part, but I'm really going deep at the bottom and pausing. And on my last rep, I'll usually pause for like 5 or 10 seconds just to really milk it out. And then it'll hurt to walk for the next couple days. Okay, ignore my messy ass house, but I just got a massive tub of creatine and a massive tub of whey protein. So I've never tried this before. It's iced cappuccino because all the other flavors are terrible. So we're gonna see if it's good. There's 200 servings. I normally get like the 75 serving one. Raven, can you shut the fuck up, please? Like, shut your bitch ass. Shut your meow looking ass up. Okay. What was I doing? Oh yeah. I also got 2 of these pre-workouts, so that's 90 servings right there, which is beautiful. But yeah, I'm gonna test this out and see if I like it. God damn, this is a big ass scoop. Okay, let me hold up. I'm glad I got that on recording. Yeah, there we go. We got protein powder and creatine mixed together. Pause. Here we go. It smells kind of ass. So, and smell is 80% taste. You should know that. It's not bad, but it's not good either. It's very like cinnamony, which I think well, yeah, that's it. Goodbye.